In this video, I'll be showing you how to set up the Aether.Extras libraries in your MonoGame project and how to add your animated models to it. First, you need to download Visual Studio. Currently, 2019 is out, but the current version of MonoGame doesn't properly add the templates we need to 2019. So instead, I'll be using Visual Studio 2017. If you need to get Visual Studio, go to their webpage, find Downloads, scroll to the bottom until you find this section for older downloads, and then look under 2017. I will be using the Community Edition for this tutorial. So I recommend installing that one. Once you have Visual Studio installed, download and install MonoGame. I will be using MonoGame 3.7.1, and after that you should also go ahead and grab the Aether.Extras libraries from GitHub. Once you've got everything downloaded and installed, go ahead and open up Visual Studio. Then we're going to create our project. Go to File, New, Project, and you want to select the Windows project, just plain Windows. Give it a name. I'll call this one Aether Example, and click OK. Give it a moment to build your project for you, and then go ahead and run it and make sure MonoGame is working properly on your machine. Okay, so it ran. No issues. You should also open the Aether project. So I'm going to open another window for Visual Studio. Click on Open, File, Open, Project Solution. Then I'll go to the desktop where I've got the Aether library. And I'm looking for Aether.Extras.Windows.mg.solution. So I'm going to highlight that one and click Open. Give it a moment to load. And once it loads, if you try to rebuild it, you should end up getting some errors. All of these errors are under the Aether.animation.windows.mg. So right click on that, find properties, and then go to your target framework and change it to .NET Framework 4.5. It'll ask you if you're sure, click yes. Then go and try to rebuild your solution again. This time it says that they all succeeded, and we can move on. After you've built your Aether libraries, you need to add a reference to them. So to do that, go to the game project that you made before, click on References, right click on it, then click on Add Reference. Find Browse on the left here, and then click Browse. You want to go to where you have your Aether project stored, then go under Bin, Debug. We had to build it before for that debug to appear. So if it's not there, you haven't successfully built it yet. Then go under Windows, and then just go ahead and highlight all of the DLL files here and click Add. Click OK. And just to make sure everything's still okay, you can either build or run it again. And it's fine. Yeah. Now we need to add some assets to our project so that we can load them in and see them in the game. In order to do that, up in your MonoGame pipeline tool, it should have installed whenever you installed MonoGame. If you need to find it, just search your computer for MonoGame and it should be the first thing that pops up. Next, you need to open the content package for your game. To find it, I'd go back to Visual Studio, look in your Solution Explorer, right click on Content, and then click Open Folder in File Explorer. You can just copy the path here, and then in the pipeline, whenever you're doing open, just paste it into your path, and then click on this content file. It'll load up here, and then after you do that, you need to highlight content in this pane here, then scroll down to the bottom of the properties pane, find references, and click on the value for that. Now you need to add references to the DLL files for the Aether.Extras library so it knows where to look. So go into Aether.Extras, the same one that you built before, under Bin, Debug, Windows, and then just select everything in here. Click Open, and then OK. Go ahead and click Save just to be safe, and then right click on Content, go to Add Existing Items, find your models. If you need to know how to make models, I have another video on that. And add your 3D model, and then any textures that model uses. Click on Open. It will ask you how you want to do it. I usually go with copying the file into the directory, and so I don't have to keep clicking Add. I'll tell it to do the same action for each. Then you also need to add a new item, so right click on Content, click Add New Item, and the sample we're using will have a font file. You can just generate one, name it font, and highlight sprite font description .sprite font and click Create. Click on Save, click on Build. So it managed to read everything properly. However, we're not currently using the Aether.Extras for that model yet. So you need to highlight the snowman animated or whatever model you added for your project. Then in this properties pane, find processor, and you need to select CPU animated model -Aether. That will only appear if you've added the references to the DLL files. If you're not seeing it, something went wrong with the DLL files. So save it, build it again, and now you can see it's a lighter green color, meaning that it recognized the change and it built properly. Alright, now we're going to do the code for adding your animated model to your project. We're going to just reuse the sample from the Aether project. So open up the folder where you put that and go under Samples, Animation, and then find game1.cs, and then in Visual Studio with the game project you're working on, go ahead and drag that over there so that we can copy it into your game. I'm just going to steal the name from the original and I'm going to paste it over this one. I'll highlight all, copy, and then I'll replace the generated game 1 file with the contents from the Aether project. And we don't need to keep that one open anymore. I'll click Save. And then you need to grab the name of your model. Mine is snowman_animated. Find load content method and change this name here to match that. And I'll do it for the GPU one as well, even though I'm not going to use it in this example. Then come down to line 86. We're doing a zoom. For most of my models, this ends up being too close, so I'm just going to add another 0 to it. And then I'm going to, on line 104, create a larger field of view. So instead of 500, I'll do 5,000. And depending on how you exported your 3D model, you may need to change where your camera is to see it from the front. I just need to flip where the zoom is from the example I did before. I also recommend coming down to this Configure Effect Lighting down here. Click Enter, Effect, Ambient Light Color, so that we have light all around it. And I'm just going to set it to Vector 3.1, which should be white light. Now I'm going to try to run my project. And I expect it to fail because I didn't actually tell it which animation clip to use properly. To know what the name of that animation clip is, you'll be in debug mode. It will stop here. Go under Animations, Clips, and then expand the name of your animation, and it's under Key here. So just go ahead and copy that value and stop debugging. And replace this take 1 with the name of your actual animation. Now I'm going to run it again, and this time it should work. As you can see, my model is animated just like I had it in Blender, and it's working in MonoGame.